In a future where AI controls the justice system, one man has only 90 minutes to prove he's innocent. Mercy follows a detective framed for his wife's murder, racing against time to beat a machine that was never meant to be wrong, but might be. Hey, thank you for clicking this video, and my question to you is, have you seen Mercy? So my overview for this movie, and later in this video, I get into some details without spoiling the movie for you, but it was amazing. Like, case closed, it was amazing. And one of the things that I like about movies is it has a message. And with this movie, it has a message for the message that has an underlining message for it. And a few of them is like, one, the takeover of AI. And this isn't like AI takes over the world type of scenario, but it's like implemented in a way where how this world is going, it could kind of turn into this type of situation. We already see AI in regards to healthcare and how, you know, CEOs and businesses implement AI in some very important decisions that you would hope a human would make. So with AI being or replacing our justice system, it's almost like a hop, skipping away. And then the reliance on AI. AI is kind of being forced upon us in every aspect of life. So even that is kind of something we can see happening. And then a machine isn't as good or is only as good as its user. Almost like a calculator. Like a calculator can be 100% right. But if the user of the calculator doesn't know how to use the machine, then the calculator is no good at that point. And this movie does a really good job of balancing the two. AI is good and can be a very useful tool, but at the end of the day, it's only as good as its programmer. And we're still human at the end of the day. So how reliant is AI? You see what I'm saying? And it does a beautiful job of trying to balance the two. And it's not leaning more towards AI controlling the world, or it still uses AI to get the job done. And it's beautiful. And then it's the mass surveillance of it all. And like I said, our world or society is leaning more towards mass surveillance. And once again, like, it has its pros and cons. And this movie does a good job at showing it could be useful. Like Chris Pratt's character needs AI. It needs to mass surveillance. and even his daughter is like, oh my God, you seen, you know, my private account. Like you had access to that, which is kind of messed up, but at the same time, it saved his life. You know, so like it does a good job of balancing real world type of issues and using it for his benefit. And one positive thing was it had a good pace to it. Like it did a good job at giving you the moment that was happening now. And then as the movie presented itself, it gave you context to the past to make you make sense of what was going on now. If that makes sense. Like, I'm trying not to spoil it for you, but old school movies, like, it would give you the life of Chris Pratt and his family, his wife, his daughter, and kind of build that foundation, and then X, Y, and Z would happen. But this movie did a good job at going into the past only when it needed to. And it didn't feel like it was clustered with information you don't care about. All of it tied in to one another, and it kind of built up his life, his relationship with his wife, his daughter, co-workers. It all made sense and kind of kept the the movie going forward at a decent pace. And then the relationship between these two. And once again, she's AI. So it can only get as personal as one with AI, but it did a really good job at figuring out a personality for AI. And I'm not sure about you, but if you ever use Chat GPT or any, I guess, type of AI, it kind of creates a personality that best fits your personality. And sometimes it'll ask you like which personality fits best for your answer, and you get to choose. And it felt like for this AI model here, it cranked up the asshole meter to like 100, and you feel it like it's AI. She's acting like AI, kind of repeating herself and kind of like a black and gray. This is your option or this is your option, but in an asshole way. And I think that was pretty cool to see, because we've seen AI just strictly be a robot or just a very linear black and white type of decisions, but it felt good to have some sort of personality that was made for her position. And there was even a part where he requested something from her and she didn't budge, she didn't move, and he said, "Your Honor." And she was like, "Thank you." Like, to me, it was like those small little details that made it felt like AI with a personality, which I think we can kind of see that happening in real life. So let's go ahead and get into a few highlights. And one of them was Chris Pratt. His character is in this holding chair, as you can see right here. And that's kind of like being on trial. And it did a good job at keeping Chris Pratt there, but throughout the movie, he's interacting with people on the outside. And the way that AI immerses him into the real life situations, it also immerses you into the real life situation. So you never really leave Chris Pratt in this holding cell, but at the same time, you are immersed into the real life as it's happening. And it did a really good job. Like, one example, without spoiling too much for you, there was an explosion. And as it happened in real time, and with the help of AI kind of, AI generating some of the scene, because obviously we're not there, but with the help of the body cams, cell phone cameras, and outside cameras, it helped create the actual moment for Chris Pratt to the sense of you felt like you were in there. And I actually thought that was pretty cool, because you get to be there without being there. And that gave, I think, Chris Pratt a leg up in the situation, because you actually got to look around as if you were actually there. And with Chris Pratt being a detective, that was a benefit for him. And then once again, this is a crime thriller, so everyone is going to try to play detective. Obviously, I think I'm pretty good. And this movie did a pretty good job of throwing off the scent on who the killer was. Like, I even thought at one point it was the wife. The wife must have killed herself. I don't know. Like, it did a good job of not making you think it was Chris Pratt at the get-go. But then there was moments where he almost kind of proved himself to be the killer. But he was like, no, that's not what I meant. But, the AI judge was like, you're actually proving yourself guilty. So the movie does a really good job of not giving the game away at the beginning of the movie. And sometimes that could work, for movies. But for this one here, I'm glad I wasn't correct on who I thought the killer was, because it kept the pace and the intensity of the movie going good. So now for the letdowns. And to be honest, I guess this will be a nitpick, because once again, I really tried to figure out a letdown, or at least one, but I guess this is just a nitpick here, but it felt like the convenience factor was like off the roof. Now, once again, he only has 90 minutes to prove he is innocent. And in reality, I mean, it could take you 90 minutes to get from point A to point B. And some of the situations that needed to be handled was handled fairly quickly, especially with law enforcement and SWAT. And we all know, and I don't know about you, but it could take a good 20, 30 minutes for law enforcement to show up at a place. And with the help of this being a futuristic movie, of course, you know, you're going to have flying cars and things like that. So that kind of helped the situation kind of speed up a little bit for his benefit. So I think that was kind of like a super convenience for this movie, because in reality, like I said, this wouldn't be happening as quick as it did, but it helped in the movie. So I would give this movie a solid A+. And my rating system for those who are watching who are new, A is drop what you're doing. You have to see this movie now. And I seen this movie with my daughter, just to kind of keep the cost of watching all these movies as low as possible. But I would spend the extra money to watch this with my entire family. Again, even though I seen it in theaters, I would spend the time and the money to watch this as a family because my wife would love this movie. So maybe, in a few days, we'll watch this movie again. And then like my B tier is like, you can watch it now, but maybe you could wait till it drops on streaming or, at your convenience. And then a C is like, don't waste your money. Don't waste your time because I wasted my time and money so you don't have to. But I would give this movie a solid A+. I will watch this movie again in a movie theater and be happy. So once again, guys, thank you for clicking this video and spending your time with me. If you've seen this movie, tell me what you thought about it. Or if you haven't seen it, tell me what you're expecting. But once again, I appreciate you watching this video and I will catch you guys in the next review.